And so you know about.
Recording is in progress.
Got it. Where do you want your phone?
And I'm going to go live on Facebook.
So I haven't had a chance to look at the script.
Okay, I'll be over there. Remember, you're being recorded already. Do you really want to record already?
Ready to go. Let me share screen.
See you on the other side.
Yeah. A bit about Connie.
The trick is to do this.
Okay.
And then whenever we're looking at this, we're looking at the camera.
Okay.
Now we need to get this one needs to, I think this should be full screen. Don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, help wherever you can.
What?
Help wherever you can, because I'm trying to do a million things at once.
Okay, so I am going.
Sorry,
So we're gonna
see
first-
that
That is now full screen, okay?
Yeah,
and
and that's
then-
the first one.
I know.
So
Then
we
go
have to
back.
maximize for sound. Did you do that?
No,
Or
we
I guess
didn't do that. You can't
when
do that till you share the screen.
Okay.
And then apparently it's the bottom left, and Rita knows where that is too. We had that conversation.
Hey, kids. Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Rita.
I just have to put the description in.
Right, all that.
Should I keep the scarf on, by the way?
Yeah.
I think it's cute.
Why is this?
Same color as Paul's last night. I mean, come on.
Is this?
There you go.
Is it centered?
I think so. Yeah, that's better.
Oh, my teeth. Where's my bag?
We always have to check telephone.
The
TV.
meeting is being live streamed. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rita Marsh. I'm with the Center for Human Flourishing in Carbondale, Colorado. And I'm so thrilled this afternoon to be hosting this program on the MLK Convergence. Our guests today are Connie Baxter Marlow and Andrew Cameron Bailey. Dear friends, I challenged them to collaborate with me to put this program together so we could be able to show their work over the years, decades, actually, almost 2 decades, that is in alignment with Martin Luther King's dream of beloved community. So I want to thank CompassionGames.org and their multitude of supporting organizations for producing this online tribute to the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And our program today hopes to move us closer to that dream of beloved community, where love and trust will triumph over fear and hatred. So I'm going to introduce you to our guests, and them are going to go through a program of their work showing some film clips that they've accumulated over time. And I just hope that you will relax, sit back, come into your hearts and hear what it means to be in beloved community, a vision that has been brought by these two from the future into the now. So my longtime friends, Connie Baxter Marlow and Andrew Cameron Bailey, they're co-creators who have embodied the core beliefs and principles of Dr. King. And for 19 years of their personal and professional relationship, they've accumulated a body of work brought in from their vision of the future. This vision aligns with the call out from Dr. King, who expressed in this quote, Our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives. So a bit about Connie and Andrew. They are original thinkers, writers, photographers, filmmakers, futurists, climate solutionaries, and inspirational public speakers. They met at a gathering of Indigenous elders and shamans at the Omega Institute in upstate New York in October 2003. It was immediately obvious that they had destiny together, and they got right to work. Their explorations into the essence of reality have led to a unique articulation of the conscious, loving, abundant nature of the universe. So during these 90 minutes together, we'll be screening many aspects of their work that have happened over the decades. And it weaves a tapestry of achieving global beloved community through accessing higher thinking, starting with the 1996 Martin Luther King Jr. March and rally with Native American visionary elders in Aspen, Colorado, just up the road from here. We'll move on, showing clips of various aspects of their work, co-created since 2003, and conclude with their current and future work. First, my dear friends, would you like to say some words of welcome to the audience with us today? And for those who will be watching this video in the future?
Why, yes.
Welcome, audience. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's not the happiest of stories, we know that well, but I am amazed. I'm not an American, and one of the things I'm most proud of my adopted country is the fact that this country made this a national holiday. That's really special for this horrific crime that terminated this marvelous being's life. We miss him every day, especially today, his birthday.
And this is actually his birthday. It's not just
The
a
15th.
celebration of his, it's the 15th, the celebration of his birthday. And we are so thrilled that Martin Luther King came forward with his vision of the future that he saw from his spiritual soul's vision. And he shared that with the world with his spiritual activism. He was a primary spiritual activist because he came from that spiritual place, that large vision of knowing where we're going and what we're becoming, what we're in the process of becoming. And he addressed it through facing the situation at hand. And he just gave everyone so many tools for lifting above the situation at hand and into that place where we will bring freedom and justice for all and equality for all. And so that's the process we're in. And Martin Luther King and other visionaries, Mahatma Gandhi, John Lennon, Jesus, you know, there's so many way showers and seed planters that we have been, I personally have been using Martin Luther King as a go-to, hey, see what he could see? So, hey, guess what? It's going to happen. And same with Einstein, and same with Jesus, and same with these other visionaries, John Lennon with Imagine, you know. We need things that pull us forward, visions that pull us forward from people who've actually seen it and lived it. And so this first clip we're going to show is from 1996 in Aspen, Colorado. And I organized this march and rally for Martin's birthday with Native American elders, because being carried in the indigenous knowing and connection to the sacredness and oneness of all life, are the keys to our hearts and to the all of creation that the science is now taking us to. The indigenous peoples have been carrying it, and ancient peoples have known it, but we're in an evolutionary process, so we're going to something that's completely new with this knowing of the native elders and the native way of life and the ancient texts, etc. So we're going to screen this little video of our march down through the streets of Aspen, Colorado on Martin Luther King's birthday in January of 1996. And I did this several years in Aspen in various ways, but I just came across this video a while ago and made it digital. So here it is, and enjoy. It's 4 minutes, and I have to say share screen. Andrew's saying, and go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And
then somewhere there should be optimized for once we see the shared screen.
Screen share. Let's see, where is it? I guess is it behind here?
It should be down in the left on the corner. You should see optimize video, optimize audio.
In the Zoom window, though. Yep.
So
Hit the Zoom window.
the Zoom window. No.
No.
So screen sharing, you're sharing screen. I don't know what's going on.
Well, play it and see if it plays.
Okay, so
and
here
then
now
you're going to have to expand it as well.
Okay,
so get it playing. Now see if you can do that. Yeah.
Come on, Robert, join us. We're walking over to the courthouse. Come on. We'll walk hand in hand. All these deep in our hearts. I do believe we shall overcome.
Well, we're gathered here today on Martin Luther King's observance day of his birthday, January 15th, to honor his vision of unity and freedom. This has been sponsored by Friends of Earth People, an organization that the mission and vision of which is that the native people of the world have been holding information for all of mankind for thousands of years that are the keys to profound freedom. And so we have gathered here with some Native American elders to share words of freedom and unity in the hopes that the Americas can move into their destiny of leading the world in true, profound freedom. The Statue of Liberty stands in the harbor and proclaims that we're a free country, and people come here by the thousands daily to live a free life, and we have not yet moved into that place of profound freedom. So we want to plant those seeds here today. I'd like to just start this off by reading from Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Hey, here we are. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous peaks of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village, every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. And then I'd just like to read something from Nicholas Blackout, the Lakota visionary, who had a great vision that is at the basis of native prophecy. And that is, when he described his vision, he said,
Then I was standing on the highest mountain of them all, and around about beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw. For I was seeing in the sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shape of all shapes, as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and as starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy.
Hmm.
Now what's going on?
Connie, thank you. Thanks for finding that clip. That's amazing. What a wonderful thing to have the audience be able to see that with Wallace Black Elk and Kenny Frost, representative of the Indigenous peoples. Good friends. We're now going to go to another piece that Connie did back in 1995, 8 years before she and Andrew met. This Connie's going to tell us about her journey with Hinton Harrison, a filmmaker, and Lloyd Grissom, honoring Indigenous people and visiting sacred sites.
Yeah, we got a little bamboozled there with YouTube playing the next show, but I guess you guys didn't hear it. So we took this journey for peace and healing in the Americas in 1995, honoring Indigenous cultures and visiting sacred sites. And it was blessed by many elders, Native elders, Wallace Black Elk, Grandmother Bertha Grove, and several Mayan elders and a Huichol elder. And the whole thing was to honor the Indigenous people and collect prayers for peace and healing. And you're going to see the prayers that the young children in Hopi Land wrote for us, because we stopped in Hopi Land. Martin Gaswisioma blessed it as well. These were all friends of mine who blessed this journey, because I've been involved with the Native people for many years, and we went from each person's home and were blessed by them. And these are the Hopi children saying their desires for the future. And this was in 1995. So we'll show this clip now. And we're just giving you a good feeling about this Native vision and how it aligns with Martin Luther King's vision and how it aligns with each of our hearts. We each carry this knowing in our hearts. So it's just a matter of getting our heads out of that old scientific paradigm that separated us from our hearts and from the rest of creation, and moving into the new scientific paradigm that is showing us that we are one with all of creation, with the entire cosmos, that it's a holographic fractal universe. And that's a lot of the work that we do with our work with the trust frequency and our book, The Trust Frequency, which you will experience later on in this this program. So here we go. We'll give this another shot. Could you hear it okay?
How was the
last one?
sound?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, so here we go.
First
So
you
now
gotta
we have to
share
share screen. Yeah, so we'll
Then you need to
share
go there,
screen.
right.
And then we'll
you need
click
to go
on
to the
this
second
one.
Yeah.
And then we'll go,
Move this up so it fills the screen.
and then we'll
And
go
we get it playing.
get it playing. Thank you, darling.
Okay.
And then we'll
My
go.
prayer for you.
There you go.
As you travel to the far south, I hope that your minds are purified, that you open your hearts to let Mother Earth and Father Sun into yourself. The many animals that you will encounter upon this trip will all hold a special medicine for you. Listen and learn all of these messages that all of creation has for you, for they will give you an education that very few people will ever receive. Look, Listen and learn, and the great Creator will lead and teach you. Charles W. Weed, Southern Youth, Mayfield, Colorado.
May truth be in you, and life bring you happiness and freedom. I hope you have a happy and safe trip. Hope you keep your dreams alive, and may my heart be with you. Luella Made Viema, 12 years. Hopi Hotvilla School in Arizona.
Through the hearts and songs of our children and grandchildren, may our Creator teach us that our life is meant to be shared with all those who need that lift and spirit of laughter, peace, and happiness, that understanding of who we are and what our ancestors left for us, to understand that we can go forth to help and teach our future generations what we need to do and how to accomplish it. To see, love, feel, listen, for there is always a time and a place for everything. Dorothy Naranjo, Ignacio, Colorado.
Join Hinton Harrison, Peace Clown. To the native peoples as Turtle Island, the island of peace, took on the name the New World in the 1490s. Now, more than 500 years later, we move into a position to serve as an example to the world of how to live in peace through freedom of the human spirit. The purpose of this reverent journey is to ask the people of the Americas to join together in prayer, understanding the power that unified thought has to move hearts and open minds. Poems, Prayers, and Dreams gathered at Ute Education Center, Ignacio, Colorado, Hopi Head Start, Hotvilla, Hopi Hotvilla School, Hopi Jadito School. Prayers for Peace and Healing in the Americas, Turtle Island, in me and on earth. Understanding the power that unified thought has to move hearts and open minds, I would like to add the following prayers, thoughts, dreams, poems, hopes to others being gathered with the vision that one day the people of the Americas will fulfill their destiny to serve as an example of how to live in peace through freedom of the human
I
spirit.
think we should all learn to live together as one, because we are equal. Maria Garcia, 12 years. Hopi Kings Canyon, Arizona. The years are passing by. As I am growing older, I think of the future and think about what the future holds. I am who I am. There is your world and my world. There are a lot of problems in my world and your world, and we cannot help but wonder why. Adrienne Makiwa, 13 years, Hopi Jadito School, Arizona. I dream or hope the world would be a place fit for walking, a place where the land, air, and water will be like the clean blue skies like long ago. I want people to soar like eagles, no more hatred. The world can be beautiful, but only if we try. Diane Mitchell, 12 years. Live life day by day. Kelly Dunn, 13 years. Hopi Jadito School, Arizona. I have a spirit in my heart and life is good. Casey B, 12 years. Hopi Jadito School, Arizona. Don't go where the path leads. Take a new route and leave a trail. Tabitha Habu, 13 years. Hopi Jadito School, Arizona. I would like the world to be more healthy and peace on earth for people to live like being a human star, and like a human being, so the people would be happy and give peace to others, so they would be peaceful where they are. So as the animals give them peace and let them live, also be friendly to others and all those who are on earth. Also be kind and no meanness. Yolanda Charlie, 11 years, Hopi Kings Canyon, Arizona. Share and help one another. Jasper, 12 years, Hopi Jadito School, Arizona. A world where everyone is free and happy. A place where everything is safe, no war, no pollution, peace and happiness everywhere. Racism, hatred gone, kindness, fairness rules, and just merciful, good, loving, caring as much as you could. Aaron Benner, 13 years.
Okay, now how to stop it.
If you're
Connie,
learning guitar late in life,
Hey,
there's
stop. Okay, now you got to stop sharing.
Okay.
Thank you, Connie. Thanks for keep bringing the voices of the children into this space. That's such a sweet little book that was made from this journey. And I know afterwards you put this film together. When I found the copy of that book, I just insisted that we bring that into this space because it's a voice of the youth that we need to hear. We need to hear from them today, as well as back then when you did this journey. So thanks so much for that.
And did you hear how they echoed the voice of Martin Luther King, the vision of Martin Luther King, these little 12-year-olds in Hopi land? So it is that vision that sits in our hearts, that knowing that sits in our hearts, that we are going to become that vision. We're just in process. So,
Yes,
trust the process.
a work in progress, yes.
Yeah.
So next we're going to move to the trailer for a film that Andrew and Connie made together. The title of the film is In Search of the Future. What do the wise ones know? This was the first collaboration that Connie and Andrew began months after they met, when they journeyed to South Africa to visit with Andrew's family in 2004. And it was premiered in 2007 at the Health and Harmony Festival in Northern California. Andrew, would you please give us just a little more background about making this film and the piece you're going to show today?
All right. Hello, everybody. So yeah, Connie and I met, and the first thing you do when you meet the girl who's going to become your wife 20 years later is you take her to meet your mother, all right? And my mother happened to live on the other side of the planet, on the edge of the Indian Ocean in South Africa. And so we did that. And as we were going that far, it seemed like the logical thing to do to take Connie up to the Kalahari, which is in the western part of South Africa, over on the Atlantic coast, and meet the Bushmen, the so-called Bushmen. They're known as the first people of Africa. They're known as the San, S-A-N, Bushmen. They are widely regarded as the oldest living community on the planet. And I had been in relationship with them for about 4 or 5 years previously, and we'd brought them and some of their art to the United Nations in '92, stuff like that. And I had been discussing with one of my Bushman friends there the idea of making a film with him directing the film. But what happened when my wife and I parted, she became very possessive of that project. And so here we are flying to South Africa with everything ready to make this film, except that we did not have the agreement of my beloved former spouse. And we weren't even divorced yet. So yeah, so there was a challenge there, but the seed had been planted. So on the plane, literally flying this very long journey to Southern Africa, we came up with the idea of shooting a film that opens in the Kalahari, starts with the oldest members of the oldest community of Africa, and start with that and see where it goes. And I'm not even sure if the title had yet arrived at that point, right? So we started shooting these interviews. We took this journey. We filmed, as you will see, just there's some little snippets in the trailer that I'm just really looking forward to seeing again myself. I haven't watched it for a while. This beautiful film that we made, and literally it took us from 2004 to 2007 to complete it. And we're just getting ready right now. We're taking a honeymoon trip. We just got married. And part of that is going to be heading for Australia, because the second film opens in Australia. More on that later.
Yes, with the Aboriginal people there. And the sweet thing was that Andrew had known these Bushmen, and serendipitously, and we were invited there, but serendipitously they were performing their trance dance for the British BBC, and we were invited because he was known and loved. We were invited there, and we have on film this trance dance.
We got to shoot some footage. There's no way we would have got otherwise, because they don't do this ceremony very often, and this was put together for the BBC. So that's how the film opens.
And the rest of the film is all people we'd known for 20 to 40 years, various elders, various people that we'd known from various aspects of our lives. So the elders are saying things in this film that they don't normally say on film. So it's a very important film to this day. It's a companion piece to our Trust Frequency book. And it's Indigenous elders, scientists, and futurists on the origin and future of humanity. And it was just sweet because we just arrived somewhere and we'd pick up the phone and say, hey, Ralph, we're in Santa Cruz. How about an interview for our film? And Ralph Abraham happened to be an old friend of Andrew's and the father of chaos theory. So that's how this film came together. And we expect the next one to come together in an equally miraculous way. So
and I would note that this film was shot with zero budget on standard definition equipment. High definition hadn't even arrived yet. So this is going to look a little from the past. And how do you, maybe you can just pull it along here.
Sorry, I'm trying
if you happen to be learning guitar late in life, you'll benefit from this, but honey, you need to go to the next clip.
Yeah, I know.
Right
okay,
there.
So we're gonna learning guitar. Is that what you
That's
meant?
what it said. Look,
No,
guitar
stop.
late in life.
Anyway.
I think I'm going to learn guitar late in life.
No, that was a YouTube video that came up when I was trying to look into. So we've got a share screen, right? Where are we? Okay, share screen.
Share screen there.
Okay, share screen. Are we sharing screen? There we are.
There it is, and go up there, and then fill the screen. And then go to this next one here. There you go.
Okay, here we go.
Have fun, folks. You've seen the film, What the Bleep Do We Know? You've seen The Secret. Are you ready for the next step? In search of the future. Where did we come from? Where are we going? What do the wise ones know?
You don't get a future automatically because most species are extinct. And our species certainly seems to be approaching extinction.
Many people have been concentrating on the Mayan calendar, which we all know ends December the 21st, 2012.
The Mayan calendar predicts that in the year 2012, there will be the end of life on this earth as we know it now.
The elders I worked with in Guatemala, they say we came from the stars, which would make us all extraterrestrial.
Este es apenas el principio de un gran descubrimiento.
This seems like the beginning of a grand worldwide discovery.
So you're saying that we are not monkeys, they're not going to become monkeys, or we are not coming from the monkeys?
Everything out there is spiritual. This is a spiritual world, a divine world.
All things, seen and unseen things, originate from this great power.
We can't live really spiritually healthy or physically healthy or mentally healthy without love.
What could a new consciousness bring to life on this planet?
Wake up and be aware. Do something. Change your way of life.
If we believe in scarcity, if we believe in separation, we will create poverty. We will create war.
The kind of shift I'm talking about in growing up is literally strictly a change of how we think.
Where we are going is a great awakening of the magic in the human heart.
In search of the future. Stop it. Yeah. First thing, stop. Second thing, stop sharing.
A powerful, powerful film. I've seen it several times and I highly recommend it and find it. Today is a good time to go back and revisit it. Connie and Andrew, do you have reflections on how this film really ties into Martin Luther King's idea of beloved community?
You know, it was one of the most moving things just watching that trailer right now, aside from seeing everybody again, and it's beautiful from my perspective. There was the music, which was a band that I had and a CD that I produced called, what was it called?
It's Alien Safari?
No.
No.
Foreign Objects.
Foreign Objects.
Sorry, I've had a bunch of bands and CDs, and anyway, it was fun to hear that. The question is, how does this tie into Martin Luther King and his vision? And the answer to that is by going back into the world's oldest people, or these folks we call the wise ones. There's something that emerges when you ask them these simple questions. Where did we come from? Where are we going? If there's a clear vision from somebody of where we're going, then, okay, how do we get there? How do we do that? And the beloved community is the goal of all of those statements that emerge. If you watch the film with that as sort of your lens, you watch it through. Interesting. I think there's a real match there. Connie?
Yeah, and it's just a matter of going into our hearts and that understanding, and also the science. It brings forth the science. It meshes the science and the indigenous wisdom, and so it's just helping Martin Luther King's dream to become a reality. The more we bring forth this information, the more people can say, hey, I can go there. I can live from that place. It's real. See, that's the thing. We have to take it as real and put our lives on it and live from that place. See, just thinking it or wishing it doesn't do it. We have to act from that place.
You have to walk it.
We have to walk it. So that's yeah, Kate Roberts is here with her rattle.
Yeah, thanks, Kate.
So yeah, so we're just contributing to the collective consciousness of this knowing, so that we can make that flip into becoming Martin Luther King's beloved community, because that beloved community is global. It's human wide. It's not just this little community and that little community. He saw all people, black, red, yellow, white, coming together and truly being free. He didn't limit it to black people. He brought in everyone, and so does the indigenous people vision. They always pray for all of humanity. It's not about their people versus our people versus the other. It's all one, and it's embodied in the native way, and also in the science the quantum science, and now the new physics that's taking quantum science even to the next level. So
thinking about this film as literally 20 years ago in its genesis, and how far we have come as a beloved community right now on this Zoom call, thanks to the role that Zoom played during the COVID lockdown period. How extraordinary that so many of us found each other and gathered in little clusters, but we're finding that every one of those little clusters is intimately connected to every one of the other little clusters. We are little genetic cells in an evolving entity called humanity, or called Gaia, called Mother Earth, the consciousness of Mother Earth, and it is really coming together, and we're able to find each other and communicate in ways that are just so different from where they were just 20 years ago. That's amazing. That's just a microsecond.
Yeah. And Martin Luther King, with that old scientific paradigm, Martin Luther King says, our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men and women because we had a scientific paradigm that wasn't aligned with the human heart and the human spirit and with the universal laws of the universe. So that's the big shift from that old scientific paradigm to the new one with the unified physics and the holographic understanding of the nature and fractal understanding of the nature of the universe, that we are the universe and everything we do and feel contributes to the collective consciousness of all of creation. It's huge. So
thank you for that. And it was so nice to revisit that film, and I hope that folks will look it up, and looking forward to hearing about version 2 coming in the future. Well, the next is really a trip down memory lane. We're going to show a clip from MLK's vision, What Will It Take? This was an event in 2013 with members of the Roaring Fork Valley community discussing Dr. Martin Luther King's vision of universal freedom and justice as expressed in his I Have a Dream speech. And this is in context, was delivered in context of Connie and Andrew's book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for the New Paradigm. This event happened on January 21st in 2013 in Woody Creek, Colorado. Connie, do you want to add anything here about this experience?
It's too early for that.
Let's see. Well, it was just really fun because we had Barry Chapman, with whom we did one recently in a Martin Luther King Convergence. Barry Chapman is a Black fellow.
Beautiful dreadlocked, gentle musical brother.
And in the Roaring Fork Valley, there aren't that many in the Roaring Fork Valley of non-white people. And so we had this event with Barry and with Rita Marsh and other members of our community contributing to this process. So the Roaring Fork Valley is in fact a beloved community. You saw the march in 1996.
One of those years.
That was the mayor of Aspen and various others marching down the streets of Aspen singing "We Shall Overcome." So we are a beloved community up there where Rita still lives. Andrew and I live in Loveland, Colorado.
We're up there part-time. We come as often as we can.
Yeah, and my granddaughter and daughter and husband live there. And so I have an ongoing 40, 50-year relationship with this valley. And Rita keeps us coming back and doing talks. But in fact, it is a beloved community. And so that's what we were reveling in that night in the name of Martin Luther King. So we'll share the clip from that. And
this is from the Woody Creek
this is the
Community
Woody
Center.
Yeah.
This beautiful place that's not there anymore, the Woody Creek Community Center. Man, was that beautiful.
Oops,
that's now you need to go to the next one down.
Which is
that one? Yep.
This one?
Right, there you go.
Okay, here we go, kids.
Let's try it together. I believe we shall overcome someday. Okay, let's start from the beginning. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, is in my heart. I believe we shall overcome. Let's keep repeating that. We shall we're gonna overcome hatred. We shall overcome. We're gonna overcome our indifferences. We shall overcome. I believe. Let's try that together. I believe. We shall overcome someday.
Welcome to the Woody Creek Community Center in Woody Creek, Colorado, a last bastion of freedom in America. The Woody creatures who are here will all celebrate freedom in the name of Martin Luther King Jr. This is his birthday celebration. And we are going to read from his I Have a Dream speech that he gave August 28, 1963, 50 years ago. This is 2013. And we're going to read excerpts that show his resonance to a higher truth. He asked for the end of racial injustice, but he asked for bigger truths. He asked for something bigger. And we're going to read excerpts from that to set the stage for this evening. And some of our audience is going to read those excerpts. Emily, who's just in from Atlanta, Georgia. She's from Atlanta, and she was in
King's hometown.
Martin Luther King's hometown, and she just flew in today, and she's the manager of the Woody Creek Community Center, and she is here because of Woody Creek's resonance to freedom.
We have come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of this moment.
Hear, hear. A word for the now. Our friend Barry Chapman, who is our musician and our voice of freedom.
Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers and sisters, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. They have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone.
Thank you, Barry. And that speaks for oneness. And next we have Jill White from Manhattan, who just came in from Manhattan.
I still have a dream. It's a dream rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. I have a dream today I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough spots will all be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see this together. This is our hope. This is our faith that I go back to the south with. With this faith, we shall be able to hew out the mountain of despair into a stone of hope. With this faith, we shall be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that one day we will all be free.
So that speaks of faith, faith in a bigger picture.
Like Rita.
Hey, Rita, can you move to your right a little bit?
This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with a new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the cavernous slopes of California. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to sing and to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black men and white men and red men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last.
Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you so much, Rita. And that speaks of freedom for all people. And Martin Luther King had this vision for all of humanity. And we're gathered here tonight to talk about our book, Andrew's and my book, The Trust Frequency. Okay, that's it for that one.
Okay, unshare.
And unshare. So
that was a lovely remembrance. Thanks for showing that. Good to see good friends.
well, this has been your orchestration, my dear Rita. So thank you for calling forth this weaving of this tapestry, again in honor of the vision of Martin Luther King, who is holding it for all of us from our hearts, the heart of all of creation. He spoke from that place.
Well, you're very welcome. And next, we'll show a short film of a prophecy that Connie has been carrying since the 1990s. Andrew filmed Connie for the Unify.org World Peace broadcast in 2018. Connie was expressing a synthesis of ideas showing elements of the universal truth that will bring peace on earth. This film begins with the prophecy how peace will come to prevail on earth, and where Connie shares her vision of pan-indigenousness. And someday I'm going to tackle pronouncing that word. This is a vision of a new world. And it concludes with how to prepare for a new future.
Thank you, Rita. And we were just trying to figure out how to get it up on YouTube. So here we go with sharing screen again.
For those of you interested in learning guitar late in life, that's a little commercial that has to be switched off as soon as you get it rolling.
So we're sharing screen now, right? And here's the guy with the guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
So you can just play it.
just play it.
If you're going to succeed or fail.
And
Then skip ads.
There she is.
How peace will come to prevail on earth, a prophecy. It will be through the inspiration of individuals on a large-scale basis that world change will be effected. Separation, fear, hatred, and violence are old patterns learned for survival in a bygone era. They are like an old suit that no longer fits. We are beginning to realize that these attitudes do not reflect our innermost feelings. There's a volcano that's about to erupt into the world today. What will be thrown into the atmosphere by the bursting open of the human heart will be more beauty, balance, joy, abundance, and harmony than has ever been experienced before. This has been written in the destiny of planet Earth and has been carried through the ages by the native peoples in their prophecies and in the essence of all religions. The continental mass from Chile to Alaska is in fact the new world. People from every nation of the globe have moved to this land to break with tradition and start a new, better life. At the foundation of democracy lie the seeds of true peace and freedom. These seeds have yet to bear the fruit encoded in them. The indigenous peoples of the world have been holding keys to true peace, freedom, and harmony in the essence of who they are and their core spiritual knowledge. The coming together of the ancient understanding of the natural laws of the universe and the secrets of the earth, which have been held by the indigenous peoples, with what the modern cultures have learned through exploring the scientific paradigm, will create a synthesis from which will emerge a balanced way of walking on earth that has never been experienced before. This new experience will come from the choice of individuals to abandon fear and open their hearts to the full potential of the human spirit. There is a new energy on earth which supports the manifestation of the infinite balance, abundance, and unconditional love that lie at the foundation of universal law. We are experiencing these in our lives, and they are influencing us as to what choices we make as we live day by day. Spontaneously, trust replaces fear. Generosity replaces hoarding. Ease replaces struggle. Abundance replaces scarcity. Unity replaces separation. Serenity replaces tension. New systems develop. New relationships replace outmoded ways of being. An understanding of the sacredness and interconnectedness of all things begins to emerge. It is in this way that true peace and profound freedom come to prevail on earth. The principles found in indigenous thought, the way of life of the native peoples of the Americas and most traditional cultures and tribal cultures, are principles that resonate to the deepest aspiration of all of humanity and can be thought of as pan-indigenousness, the thread that binds the heart of humanity together in a vision of a world in balance. We can compare and contrast these principles of indigenous cosmology with the principles that drive the society we live in today. Sharing versus hoarding and saving. Concern for the common good versus individualism at the expense of the common good. Cooperation versus competition. Concern for the future impact of present action versus instant gratification. Respect and reverence for all of life versus dominance of a concern for profit. Trust in the love of a higher power manifested in all action versus fear and doubt. Living in balance with the rhythms of life versus being constrained by a man-made concept of time. Understanding the interrelatedness of all things and actions versus separation. Understanding and trusting abundance versus fear of scarcity. An understanding of the co-creative power of thought versus random coincidence. Equality between all aspects of life versus human dominance. Incorporation of the metaphysical into physical reality versus being bound to the limits of physical reality. In order to prepare for the new future of peace, harmony, and unity that may be beyond our current understanding, we must act with intention and use the information already available to us, as well as commit to listening to and learning from the earth, her creatures, and other aspects, as well as the universal energies, visible and invisible, and to encouraging peak performance through connectedness, choice, and discovery, abandoning models of perfection and judgment.
You didn't stop it.
Yeah, I did.
It's a powerful, powerful piece of film. Thanks so much for showing that to us today.
Well, thanks for choosing it, my dear. You're the weaver.
I think we just need to take 3 deep breaths together after hearing the trilogy of messages that came through that film. Deep breaths into the heart. Thank you. And reflecting on that message that you put together in 2018, Connie, how do you think we are today in the US of A and on the globe?
Well, I wrote those pieces in 1995. They're one-pagers that I put into the back of our book when we give it away, because they're so succinct. The ideas, I wanted to get the ideas into one page. And so those are 3 one-pagers. And from my point of view, we're getting there. Excuse me. It's happening. The energy that I foresaw then in 1995 has been increasing. The vibration of the earth has been increasing, and people are speaking of that in these times, that in fact the frequency is increasing, and that in fact there is more information in the higher frequencies. Nassim Haramein, I have a quote from Nassim Haramein stating just that when we tune our antenna to the higher frequencies, we get more information. So we're operating with new information. We're being pulled forward into a new reality that we can't even imagine from this lower frequency that the earth has been in, and the systems and behaviors and beliefs that we've developed during this lower frequency millennia. Because you think of the human history. I mean, we've had some highs, some really beautiful highs, but we've had lots of horrific lows from all races of man. All colors of man have done horrific stuff to each other. So it's time to have the playing field even and understand that we've all been responding to that. And we've done a great job given the fact that these energies were influencing us. And so now we get to move into the true human potential, the human heart, the armored human heart. See, we've armored our heart because of that energy because of those behaviors, because of those systems, because our heart hasn't been honored, nor has the rest of creation. So now we get to move into our hearts, and all of creation is awaiting the love in the human heart, the opening of the human heart. We're going to change everything because we are everything. So as soon as we start acting from love, from compassion, from empathy, and understand we are one people, and that and all the healing potential that we have, that's coming forth now, that we can move out of the systems, the healthcare systems that are so dysfunctional. Everything's dysfunctional in the old systems. And now we get to move forward into our hearts, into this healing potential that is being brought forth by people right here on this screen. And so it's just very exciting to see what's coming forth. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, there's a couple of metaphors, and I think everyone knows the one of the caterpillar metamorphosing into the butterfly, and there's a sticky, gooey phase in there where the poor caterpillar is just convinced that it's the end of the world as we know it. And that caterpillar's right, but has no idea of what's coming until it emerges as that beautiful butterfly. But there's another one. The pearl of great price that emerges from the oyster. The oyster just sitting there peacefully in the sand, and a grain of sand gets in where it's not supposed to be, and it's an irritant. And all of these supposedly negative things that we see going, the things that we would prefer not to be seeing and reading on the newspaper and in the news and so on. These massive events that are going on in the world are a massive irritant to the oyster of humanity. And the vision is that we are in process towards a glorious, beautiful pearl.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
That's a nice metaphor. Nice to change the metaphor from the butterfly thing that everybody talks about to the pearl thing. Very good.
thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
And on this subject, I just want to honor the people that are here in the Zoom room. Maureen Edwardson, who is an amazing quantum healer. Many of us here on the screen have been working with her and having extraordinary results. And Janice Hall, who's here, is an extraordinary visionary, and we don't know Lorraine, and we know Kate.
Lorraine.
Do we know you, Lorraine? Anyway,
Good to see
that's
you.
so wonderful to have
Good to
you
see
here.
Kate. Yeah.
So wonderful to have you here. And Kate, I've known for a long time, so I just wanted to acknowledge.
I just found out that this was coming on recently, so I just popped on this afternoon to see what it was all about. Sounds
thank
absolutely
you.
wonderful and amazing, and it touches my heart very deeply.
Oh,
Beautiful.
great, Lorraine. So
Are
wonderful to have you.
Are you in Canada?
You sound like it.
I live in White Rock, close to Chief Phil Lane.
Chief Phil Lane,
right
now
on the weather.
that's a visionary elder.
Connie and Phil go back how long?
In the 90s. And he's a very
Right.
important visionary elder who's bringing that universal knowing of the oneness of the one human family. And so we're just so indebted to him for staying the course and staying in that high vibration to heal all hearts with this indigenous knowledge.
Well, I heard him speak at the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference in November, and that's where I met him. I went up to him and said, I'd like to participate and help out in some way in the future. And he was still traveling, and then in December I was traveling. So yeah, I just got back, and I received some kind of email, and was talking about this. So I thought, well, I'll click onto it today.
Great.
And see what it's all about. But
Thank you.
it's a wonderful community, and I love it. And it speaks to my heart, speaks to things I've been carrying in my heart for many years, and looking for the community that is bringing this forth. So I'm
Great.
so
Welcome. Welcome. We
Lorraine.
look forward to seeing more of you on various Zooms.
And I'm in White Rock too. I'm in White Rock.
Oh,
Maureen.
amazing. Do you know
Yes.
you know each other?
Well,
How
No.
cool is that?
Oh, wow.
Yes, no.
Yep. So you guys need to hook up, and look, and there's Kate looking so great and all pressed out. So it's great to see you, Kate.
I see your email address, Maureen, and I'll email you.
And Kate wanted to say something. So, yes.
Well, I will just pop in and say thank you, Connie and Andrew, for, I feel that I hear that Jackson Brown song, Every Man. Like you're just kind of been there for a long time and you're just waiting on us all and reaching out your hand and showing us this is how you get there, how you just trust the universe and how you live the honeymoon. You've been living the honeymoon since I've known you. So it's just wonderful to watch, and it's an infectious energy that you transmit. And the truth, who can deny it? Thank you for making the films and all you do. All of you.
Thank you, Kate. It's wonderful
And
to
welcome, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that interchange. That was certainly affirmative of what's happening in this Zoom room. And there's going to be many more people who will see this recording afterwards, I'm sure. Well, we're getting toward the end. We're going to show a last piece of film and see Connie and Andrew beaming in from the trust frequency.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of butterflies.
On Saturday Night Alive.
We took a trip to the Butterfly Nebula.
Yeah.
Yes, the Global Peace Tribe explores the power of community, building trust and coherence. And this was in November of 2020.
So, okay, we'll beam in from the trust frequency, the Butterfly Nebula. Let's see, where are we now? What do I do now? Where are we? Did we?
You need to find your.
Need to find the
Do
thing.
that.
Okay.
And then go. No, you need
to. What do I need to
do?
do?
Hang on, let me escape from that.
Escape from that.
Go there.
Go to the last one.
There it is.
Thank God for this man.
Click that baby there.
Click
there.
Connie?
Yes, and we're beaming in. Okay, let's start.
It's just very much an honor to show up on Saturday Night Alive. Connie?
Yes, and we're beaming in from the Butterfly Nebula and the trust frequency, where the laws are expanded and there's more beauty, balance, joy, and abundance than we can fathom. And Andrew and I have been on a journey together, the dance of souls, as we journey toward our self-love and self-acceptance and alignment with our divinity, which is the job we came here to do. And our heart and our mind are in coherence because we trust the loving universe. Yes, indeed, we trust the loving universe.
And of course, as everyone knows, the butterfly is the symbol of metamorphosis. And our work has to do with metamorphosis, which is transforming in an evolutionary sense into a higher way of being, which is where we are coming. We're actually coming to you tonight from a state of consciousness that we call the trust frequency. And this trust frequency, what's it like to be here? What's it like to be here? Well, firstly, we have this miraculous revelation that not every human being on our planet is aware of, and that is that we live in a conscious, loving universe. We are actually part of an exquisitely beautiful biological entity that the only name we have for it is the universe. The universe loves us unconditionally. It literally gives us everything we ask for. And most people don't experience that as well because they simply don't know that. We are an intimate part of the universe, and whatever we want the universe to make, what we truly want the universe to bring to us is what appears in our lives. So the message, and I got this message originally from the wonderful film, What the Bleep Do We Know? And it is this: we create reality with the power of our consciousness. But again, not everybody knows what consciousness is. It's the only thing we ever experience. But try getting a scientist to define consciousness. Try getting a psychologist to define consciousness. You go to the dictionary and it says consciousness is awareness. That's all it says. But there are 7 words beginning with the letter A that are attributes or aspects of consciousness. Connie?
Yeah, and these 7 words that begin with A determine our vibratory level, our frequency. So once we know that, and we know that what these aspects are, we've given these attributes of consciousness. There are many more, but our 7 A's of consciousness are, and I'll say them in one sentence: with expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, which is the kicker. We have to act from this place. Take committed action and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
So yeah, this evening's about community, it's about gratitude, it's about love, it's about thanksgiving. And I think maybe the primary message here is that everything in our lives happens for us, not to us. So we are not victims of circumstance, we are beneficiaries of circumstance.
And when we understand, we write our movie and everybody's showing up for us with the script we've written. Our soul actually asks for certain behaviors. We shift from victim to beloved. And we go from blaming others to gratitude for the gift they have brought us.
Even when it's painful at the time, we just put a little gratitude in
the
our attitude.
And we have an online course called The Dance of Souls. And we also are bringing out and launching right now our ebook, The Conscious Loving Universe, a guidebook.
Here and now on this show, we are launching a brand new ebook, and it's free for anybody listening now and into eternity if they're watching a rerun of this show.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. Thanks.
Now, hold on. I want to make sure everybody really understands this is really special. So if they go to thetrustfrequency.net, that's where they can get the ebook?
Yes.
That is correct, Scott.
Yep.
Wow. All
If
right.
you simply go there, you will be directed. It will tell you what to do. And the minute you contact us, we will need your email so that we will know where, because it will be a PDF. And we will send it to you as soon as we receive your request.
And people can go to the Dance of Souls from our trustfrequency.net, and you can also buy our book, an autographed edition from our website, which we would really appreciate rather than going to Amazon.
The book is The Trust Frequency.
Yeah, so that's us.
So what a treat, friends. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we just want to say that, as Rumi says, gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk.
And we can summarize this entire 5-minute presentation in 4 words: trust the loving universe. Thank you.
We shall be the peacemakers. We shall be the peacemakers. We shall become the children of love.
So
What a fabulous piece. Thanks so much. That was such fun to see that again. I must say that I have the ebook of the Conscious Loving Universe, the guidebook, and I'm offering a course here in Carbondale, Colorado on taking people through the 10 assumptions. And it's going to really grow an amazing community here, people living the trust frequency. Folks are, we're fondly called the trust freaks. So watch for us around town.
Around the universe, once we put it up on Zoom, once you get your initial course going, because what Rita's doing is she's bringing her gifts to our gifts. So it's becoming a co-creative process, because the Trust Frequency book and the ebook, which is a synopsis of the Trust Frequency book, and this is the Trust Frequency book, it comes through the intellect. It's more of an intellectual approach to the nature of the universe. And Rita is an energy medicine practitioner, and she wants to bring it into people's neurological pathways, right, Rita? She wants to bring her gifts to this process, because it's very challenging to move to that place beyond duality, beyond right and wrong and good and evil and victim and perpetrator, to understanding that it's all love. Everything that's ever happened to us, everything that's ever happened is love. And that's a huge leap to understand. And we bring an understanding of the nature of the universe that helps resolve that paradox, because how can it God be love if God is all this horrible stuff is happening? Well, we resolve that paradox of the creator, of God, of this people's thinking that everything is the creator, everything is God, and it's all love. Well, what about war? What about abuse? What about all these experiences we've all had at some time? And so our construct resolves that paradox and applies it to our relationships with ourselves, with others, and with the universe, because this conscious loving universe sends us information and signals. And if we watch the signs like the native people have always done and act accordingly, we get into the flow and we realize our true nature and our true purpose. But getting into that flow and getting it there through self-love and self-acceptance, we've got to come into really recognizing our divinity and aligning with that. And that's a process. It's the job we came here to do, to learn to love those parts of ourselves we don't love yet. So that's our Dance of Souls course. And you can go on Thinkific to the Cameron Baxter online school. And but you can go to our website, the Dance of Souls, and you can get the links to our course from the trustfrequency.net/the Dance of Souls. So anyway, I would love to see you on our course. So actually it's a evergreen course, so we don't actually see each other, but you get to experience this this process of moving through various masks that we put on and defense mechanisms to protect those parts of ourselves we don't want other people to see. And we've got to come to love those parts and bring them forth, because we promise to bring a gift to the party. And that gift is us, all of us, not just the parts that we think people want to see. So that's our closing gift. And
but there's some more. There's still some more.
Well,
some current information. We must say again that after a 20-year engagement, these two were married on Christmas Eve Day in Aspen, Colorado. And I was so privileged to be a witness to that beautiful ceremony down by the river in the John Denver Sanctuary. So congratulations, you two.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also they were each awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award as visionary leaders by the Visioneers International Network in Canada. And that happened just at the end of 2022. Thank you, Maureen, for helping orchestrate that. That's wonderful.
Maureen nominated us for that, and they said, hey, we think that they deserve this award. So, hey, which is great because we've been at this from our teens, both of us.
And we're just getting started. So lifetime achievement, boy, we're constantly in search of the future.
But
and yet it's beautiful to be acknowledged.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have a Linktree/Connie and Andrew where you can see all of this. You can get links to all of this, as well as our GoFundMe for our Australian trip for our film In Search of the Future too. But those links are going into the chat. Our friends are putting those links in the chat. But it's Linktree, linktr.ee/Connie and Andrew. So then you can find everything. Yeah, look, there it is. And so, yeah, so there it is. There you have it.
You're going to be at the Conscious Life Expo in LA. Is that true?
Yep, we have a booth with a friend who's written a book called The Liminal Odyssey. Sandy Hart's written a book called The Liminal Odyssey and has a chapter on the trust frequency. She's invited us to share her booth there, the 10th to the 13th of February.
And then also Unity.Earth Convergence in LA on March 28th.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff happening in LA at the end of the month. At the end of March. From February to March.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're going to spend some time on the West Coast. Hopefully it's still there and doesn't get totally washed away.
Well, it's so reassuring to know your journeys in the Trustmobile are continuing.
Yes.
You know that you're welcome back here to 3rd Street Center in Carbondale for workshops and more, sponsored by the Center for Human Flourishing, whenever it falls into your schedule. Always welcome here.
Well, Rita calls us forth. Should we call her our commander?
I call her boss.
Boss lady. She's like this thing. She
tells us what
this.
to do, we do it. It's a good division of labor.
Yeah, for decades now.
Well, I just want to thank the audience for being here today, and greetings to those who will see this recording in the future. Thanks to CompassionGames.org and their multitude of supporting organizations, the supporting team members behind the scenes who produced this online tribute to the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Special thanks to Maureen Edwardson and Janice Hall for being the chatty ladies in the background and energetic support for us here today. And folks, remember to save the chat, because there you'll have the record of the links, and especially look for that, what's the one, the list of links, Connie?
The
Linktree.
Linktree, thank you.
linktr.ee/Connie and Andrew.
Well, again, thanks everyone. Thanks Connie and Andrew for being so present today. And I'm going to stop the live stream now and trust the loving universe.
Thank you, Rita.
With bold, committed action. Got to do the action part.